Good day, everyone. Welcome to today's program. I am Tang Jingyuan. This year's Chinese Lunar New Year was markedly different. On one side, Tiananmen Square was under extremely heavy security. Sentries posted every 3 steps, patrols every 5 steps. On the other side, in Hebei, Tianjin, Hunan, Quanzhou, and Fujian, and various locations in Shaanxi, fireworks exploded into the sky at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve. Some netizens declared, "The battle in Hebei has begun." Others shouted, "Just do it. Nothing to lose." When firecrackers become declarations, when delivery riders in the Bund raise the Taiwan flag and proclaim, "We refuse to be leaks or human minerals," and when rumors circulate within the military that Central Military Commission Vice Chairman Zhang Youxia is nearing death amid waves of purges. These are no longer mere festive elements. They mark the opening of the 2026 Bingwu Fire Horse year at an entirely new level of intensity, openly signaling that internal control across China is undergoing comprehensive breakdown. If you follow this topic, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Select all so you never miss an update. This year's New Year was genuinely unprecedented. 2026 is the Bingwu year, the fire horse in the Chinese sexagenary cycle. Traditionally, the fire horse is associated with major upheaval and transformation, and events indeed unfolded in a manner that matched the symbolism. What the official media framed as jubilant prosperity in a flourishing age was, in reality, what netizens have dubbed the Firecracker Defense War, a nationwide storm that erupted on New Year's Eve. On the first day of the lunar year, Tiananmen Square resembled a war zone. 3 steps, 1 sentry. 5 steps, 1 patrol. Police, armed police, and PLA personnel were deployed in overwhelming numbers, sealing off the entire area in what looked like full combat readiness. Was this preparation for a holiday or de facto martial law? Simultaneously, at the midnight chime across Hebei, Tianjin, Beijing suburbs, Jishou and Hunan, Quanzhou and Fujian, Datong and Shaanxi, and many other places, fireworks lit up the night sky in massive displays. One video caption read, "The battle in Hebei has already begun." A Tianjin netizen posted, "Who said Tianjin people are cowards? Just do it. Nothing to lose." Another comment, "The brave taste the world first." This was not ordinary fireworks. This was a deliberate act of defiance. You ban it, we light it anyway. This year, authorities enforced an extraordinarily strict ban on fireworks and firecrackers nationwide. Leaked videos showed door-to-door searches before the holiday, drones deployed for surveillance, and specialized explosive detection equipment scanning buildings, scenes many compared to anti-narcotics raids. Public anger was palpable. Comment sections overflowed with outrage. Wasting money and manpower, they've got nothing better to do. This doesn't even feel like a holiday anymore. You may personally dislike fireworks, but one fact is undeniable. When a government feels compelled to control even firecrackers, the traditional spirit of the festival is fundamentally altered. On New Year's Eve, police in multiple provinces repeatedly attempted to disperse crowds setting off fireworks. Yet they were overwhelmed. Wave after wave of fireworks continued to rise. In Quanzhou, Fujian, the display was so massive it was described as half the city in fireworks, half in fairyland. One voice shouted, "The central government forbids it. We exercise self-governance. You have no jurisdiction here." In Datong, Shaanxi, the fireworks spectacle was labeled by many as the first shot fired in defense of traditional Chinese culture. What began as a customary practice had clearly escalated into an emotional and symbolic confrontation. Fear is beginning to fracture. An overseas commentator observed, "When the people no longer fear them, the CCP becomes a joke." Video footage from Hunan at midnight showed the entire city simultaneously igniting fireworks in a breathtaking display. One netizen wrote, "Hunan doesn't have a single coward. What does this fireworks phenomenon actually signify?" Many ask, "It's just setting off firecrackers. Why elevate it to a political level?" The issue is not the firecrackers themselves. The core question is, when a regime no longer trusts the population, even with something as traditional and innocuous as fireworks, what exactly is it afraid of? When citizens attempting to celebrate the most ancient of customs are treated as violators, this is no longer a matter of governance. It is a collapse of trust. Fireworks represent thousands of years of Chinese tradition. This year, they became a silent, nationwide civil declaration. In previous years, the CCP had also imposed firework bans, citing safety concerns. Yet never before had there been resistance on anything approaching this scale. 2026, the Bingwu Fire Horse Year. Some call a year of transformation. We make no predictions about the future, but one reality is unmistakable. For a great many people, this new year was no longer simply about celebration. Through fireworks, they were signaling, we still exist. We have not been completely tamed. When the sound of firecrackers echoes, it may technically be nothing more than burning gunpowder. But when growing numbers of people cease to be afraid, that sound becomes something far greater. It becomes a fissure. And once a fissure appears in such a system, it is extremely difficult to seal again. Next, we turn to a highly consequential revelation from Hu Liren, a prominent Chinese industrialist now based overseas and active as an independent commentator. In a recent program, he disclosed information originating from Beijing sources claiming that Central Military Commission Vice Chairman Zhang Youxia is possibly already in critical condition and nearing death. According to the account, he is being held in a highly secure facility under the Central Guard Bureau, located south of Beijing near Daxing Airport in the Guan County area of Langfang, Hebei, an installation reserved for the highest level of confinement and control. Hu Liren stated that Zhang Youxia, a career soldier known for his resolute character, has reportedly been subjected to severe mistreatment and has been on hunger strike for some time. Recent information suggests he may now be in intensive care or resuscitation. Should this prove accurate, the nature of the situation changes dramatically. The principal charge leveled against Zhang Youxia is grave violation of the chairman responsibility system of the Central Military Commission. In CCP terminology, this constitutes one of the most severe political crimes possible. Hu Liren noted that since the reform and opening era, very few high-ranking officials have been sentenced to death. Most receive prison terms while their lives are spared, except in cases of exceptionally heinous conduct. Zhang Youxia is different. The accusation is not corruption or economic crime. It is a political error, specifically challenging the authority of the chairman of the Central Military Commission. In plain terms, open opposition. Within the CCP, this crosses one of the ultimate red lines. The next step beyond that is armed mutiny. At present, we cannot independently verify the authenticity of these claims. Hu Liren provided important background context. In October 2017, Zhang Youxia was appointed vice chairman of the Central Military Commission. In March 2018, Xi Jinping pushed through the constitutional amendment abolishing term limits. Hu argues that Zhang's appointment served a single purpose: to stabilize the military and ensure loyalty during the critical constitutional revision period. In other words, Zhang Youxia was almost certainly among the very first to be informed of Xi's plan to remove term limits. So why did the relationship sour? Hu Liren's analysis is that Zhang may have believed, I helped you amend the Constitution. On certain matters, you should now listen to me. Major disagreement reportedly arose, particularly concerning the handling of veteran cadres and princeling, red second-generation figures. When such conflict occurs at the apex of military power, it ceases to be mere disagreement. It becomes a life-and-death struggle. Another detail is particularly striking. Hu Liren recounted that during Xi Jinping's tenure as Shanghai Party Secretary, he visited the Dongjiao State Guest House to pay respects to Jiang Zemin. There he reportedly observed that retired top leaders enjoyed virtually no personal freedom. Every movement required advance approval, and they remained under tight control by the Central Guard Bureau. According to the account, upon leaving, Xi remarked, "How can life after retirement be like this?" If true, this anecdote suggests she had already recognized that stepping down equates to loss of personal liberty and physical security. In that light, abolishing term limits and extending his rule may have stemmed not from grand ideological vision, but from a deep-seated fear of personal vulnerability, a pattern extremely common in authoritarian systems. The deadly game inside the CCP apparatus. Hu Liren also stated bluntly, in the communist system, normal human beings cannot survive. This is not emotional rhetoric. It is a structural reality. Senior CCP officials live under constant surveillance and must exercise extreme caution in every word. The higher one rises, the less freedom one retains. In 2026, many senior officials attempting to travel abroad are intercepted at customs, not as a privilege, but as de facto house arrest. Life and death are no longer in their own hands. If Zhang Youxia has indeed been subjected to forced interrogation, hunger strike, and now emergency resuscitation, this is not an isolated case. It is the inherent logic of the system. Are there signs of unrest within the military? Hu Liren pointed to a recent CIA video campaign explicitly targeting PLA officers for defection. He assessed that a significant number of officers may already have been turned. While this claim also remains unverified, one factor is worth serious consideration. Today's younger generation of PLA officers includes many with overseas education or exposure. They have seen the outside world and are far less susceptible to conventional ideological indoctrination. Combined with persistent rumors of a sweeping purge of remnants of the Zhang Yulu faction, with subordinates being summoned for questioning, placed under isolation, and even retired generals reportedly preparing joint letters of appeal, the military's internal cohesion must be under severe strain. On the evening of February 12th at around 7 p.m., multiple unexplained loud explosions, resembling gunfire or artillery, were reported in Haiyan, Jiangsu. Netizens immediately asked, "Is this combat? Is a mutiny underway?" Hu Liren was unequivocal. To Xi Jinping, Zhang Youxia was merely a pawn, useful when needed, disposable afterward. By the same logic, even trusted lieutenants such as Wang Yi, Kai Chi, and Li Chong cannot be considered permanently safe. In totalitarian logic, there are no eternal allies, only eternal power. And the greatest threat to power is always the potential successor. What is truly alarming is not Zhang Youxia's personal fate. It is the implication. If even a vice chairman of the Central Military Commission can be reduced to this condition, then the entire power structure has entered a phase of mutual devouring. In such a system, there is no trust, only fear. No rule of law, only struggle. Today is Zhang Youxia. Tomorrow it will be someone else. While the precise status of Zhang Youxia remains unconfirmed, earlier leaks describing high-ranking figures being brought in to dine with him and attempt persuasion to confess suggest the reports are not entirely baseless. Should he die under these circumstances, the situation would become far more volatile. History teaches a clear lesson. When a regime begins to impose death sentences for political errors, when large-scale purges sweep the military, and when the highest echelons are gripped by mutual terror, these are not signs of stability. They are the suffocating quiet before the storm. In 2026, the political landscape is indeed shifting. 5 major anomalies at the Capital Military-Political Joint Meeting. Top generals vanish collectively. Beijing garrison posture appears to change. On February 12th, just before the Lunar New Year, Western Theater Command Commander Wang Haijiang and Political Commissar Li Fengbiao, both full generals, were simultaneously absent from the military local Spring Festival Symposium held in Chengdu, Sichuan. This is no trivial matter. Wang Haijiang had already missed several key events, including the 4th plenary session, fueling long-standing rumors of investigation. When a theater command commander repeatedly disappears, it is not a question of scheduling. It is a signal. Yet the more intriguing development occurred earlier at the Capital Military Political Symposium held in Beijing on February 6th, which exhibited 5 striking anomalies. First anomaly: one key sentence vanished. In his summary of the previous year, Beijing Party Secretary Yin Li omitted a standard phrase that had appeared consistently in 2023, 2024, and 2025. The Beijing garrison resolutely obeys the command of the party's Central Committee, the Central Military Commission, and Chairman Xi. This year, it was replaced with, while comprehensively strengthening training and combat readiness, the Beijing garrison has actively supported the construction and development of the capital. Superficially innocuous, but in CCP official discourse, the deliberate omission of an explicit loyalty pledge during a highly sensitive period is politically significant. Rumors of passive resistance within the military toward Xi have circulated for some time. In such a context, Yin Li's avoidance of the phrase, resolutely obey Chairman Xi, is unlikely to be accidental. Political language is never casual. Second, anomaly. Sudden emphasis on stability maintenance. For the first time, Yin Li inserted the phrase, jointly safeguarding the overall harmony and stability of the capital. Note the specific wording, overall situation of the capital. In previous years, 2023 to 2025, the focus was on safe Beijing, disaster relief, and construction support. Never before had overall stability of the capital been so explicitly highlighted. Why the new emphasis this year? If the capital were truly stable, why stress stability so pointedly? The language suggests the opposite. Zhang may not be at peace, and the political alignment of the Beijing garrison is now a critical variable. Also notable was the rare insertion of thoroughly study and implement Xi Jinping's thought on strengthening the military, a phrase largely absent in prior years. Is this remedial signaling or a warning shot? Third, anomaly. Complete absence of full generals. The highest-ranking military attendees this year were all lieutenant generals. PAP Lieutenant General Dong Wenhui, Air Force Lieutenant Gens Ji Duo and Chun Demon, Army Lieutenant General Zhang Yinpa, Navy Lieutenant General Hu Yu, Rocket Force Lieutenant General Ding Xingnon. Not a single full general was present. In 2024, Miao Hua, full general, attended. In 2025, Yi Hongjun, full general, attended. This year, none. The Capital Military Political Symposium is a symbolic venue for civil-military relations in Beijing. The absence of full general signals either that no suitable figures were available or that key figures chose not to appear. Equally telling, the military representative, Lieutenant General Chen Demon, delivered a standard statement affirming implementation of decisions and deployments of the party's Central Committee, Central Military Commission, and Chairman Xi, yet conspicuously failed to echo Yin Li's call to jointly safeguard the overall stability of the capital. In officialdom, such non-response constitutes a deliberate stance. Fourth anomaly, physical separation of seating. This year's venue layout placed military and civilian officials facing each other across a divide. In previous years, the arrangement was integrated. Senior military and local leaders seated together in the front row, facing the audience, symbolizing unity. This year, the separation was stark. Possible explanations include a shortage of senior military figures or deliberate distancing in the wake of the Zhang detentions. Whatever the reason, physical separation at such events typically reflects prior political separation. Fifth anomaly, reduced attendance by local senior leaders. Only 3 top local officials appeared: Yin Li, Pei Jingjia, and Yin Yong. In 2024 and 2025, the event included the directors of the Beijing People's Congress Standing Committee, CPPCC, and other deputy secretaries. This year, those positions were absent. Coincidence or intentional low profile? In a stable political environment, such gatherings would be expanded rather than scaled back. Taken together, these 5 anomalies reveal one clear pattern. The Beijing garrison no longer displays the high-profile, effusive loyalty of previous years. Absent are references to Xi as the core, the two establishes or steering the ship. Following the reported detentions of Zhang Youxia and Lu Zhenli, military purges appear ongoing. The repeated absence of Wang Haijiang, the disappearance of full generals, downgraded rhetoric, physical distancing, and reduced civilian turnout are not random occurrences. In an authoritarian system, the greatest fear is never external enemies. It is comprehensive loss of control within the party itself and across Chinese society. What are your thoughts on these developments?